things that would have been considered extreme are becoming normal. And as a result, the kids growing up.
There's no way this is the same person, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. This nigga went from Hispanic to white. Nigga said white maxing. Oh my gosh. White supremacy for the win, bro. White supremacy for the win, man. Damn, these niggas are undefeated, bro. Shit. It's your boy Online Davo, and we back with another video. Look, we got a video about Trap University. The younger generation is not okay. Now, I think this is going to be a little cool, interesting video because by younger generation, what is he talking about? He talking about Gen Z, the Gen Alpha, them new youngins that's coming in. But I wonder what he means by not okay. Because there definitely is a lot of stuff that's going on right now. There's a lot of stuff that's in the air. A lot of people are stressed out. Kids don't know whether they're going to get a job. They don't know whether they want to go to college. They don't know trade. They don't know what's out there. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, you know, and social media doesn't make it any better, to be honest. So we're going to get to this video. We're going to see what Bill talking about. Come on.
20 to 30% of U.S. college students only have basic quantitative literacy skills. That's the ability to interpret numerical information to solve a real-world problem, aka a word problem on a math test. Over 75% of people enrolled at two-year colleges are not able to fully understand things they read. But although you may think this is information from 2026, this actually comes from a study in 2006. 2006. And here I was listening to middle school and high school teachers complaining that the kids can't read.
You're a Gen Z teacher teaching Gen Alpha who already know the 6, 7, 3. Oh my God. Oh man. School is a joke. At this point, school is a joke now, bro. They have defunded this shit so much. Teachers don't get paid enough to give a fuck. Like, oh man. Her gene's kind of fire though. I give her that.
Believing that it has something to do with brain rot and social media. But what the hell were college kids doing in 2006? Sure, social media was kind of around, and I remember being a little kid in 2006 and consuming brainless content that probably had an effect on my developing brain. But I thought, like many other people, that the rise of content from the early 2010s to now is what was making the kids have a harder time in school. But 54% of adults in 2024 were reading below a 6th grade literacy level.
Host? Annual? Host? Annual.
So that shows me that intelligence is not what changed. Instead of Gen Alpha becoming less intelligent than their parents, they've instead just become more depressed.
Tell them you're hungry.
Damn.
Be like, I'm hungry.
And this depression has been, of course, linked to social media use, which also did the same thing to Gen Z, who make up the current college kids who also can't read. Although academically, they're not much different than the millennials. But essentially, social skills are being traded for tech skills, since Gen Alpha is about 30% less physically active than millennials were at their age.
Oh, yeah, I see
which
that.
Is crazy how fast it happened. Me and my
I ain't gonna lie, I see that. Oh, bro, I was outside, bro. I was doing all type of shit, bro, growing up. Skateboarding, messing up my knee, skateboarding down hills, broke my nose, skateboarding, all type of stuff, bro. I was getting into stuff, drinking from the water fountain. We were doing hella shit. But, I mean, I will say, I guess it depends on where you at. Because in my apartments right now, I be seeing the kids play outside every day. Now, how long do they play outside? For how long? How many years? Who knows? But at least in my neighborhood, there be little kids playing outside until it get dark, and then they go in the house. You know what I'm saying? Unless them badass kids be up all night, stomping through the hallway. Don't even get me started. So I think it depends on the parents also, because your parents got to encourage that too. I feel like a lot of parents now are like, they're not allowing their kid to truly be a kid. Like, yeah, you kid, you 10 years old, but don't fall. You might hurt yourself. Oh no, don't touch that. You gotta let them experiment. You gotta let their brains do what they do. You gotta let them be dumb. Okay, we know what's gonna happen already, but we gotta let them find out on their own. You know?
My wife were still under 25 when the COVID pandemic started, which is when, for a brief moment, the world changed before the kids even knew how it worked. And this decrease in, well, happiness goes for all of Gen Alpha. everywhere. You know, I was trying to make a funny video until I made this horrible discovery, but deep down we all knew it. I have never heard the words mental health so much in my entire life until Gen Z's little brothers and sisters made it to middle school. And I don't think it's the same as the people born in the 70s, 80s, and even the boomers, where the concept of mental health was kind of make-believe. Growing up as a kid in the 2000s, we were happier as a whole, because we had all the perks of the internet without things like negative comments, because it was so much harder for anybody to see any content that you posted. And yeah, there were still issues with body image, but not to the extent of today with looks maxing and teenagers and legit children being obsessed with cosmetic surgery or procedures, which I have to note was already happening in South Korea long before the rest of the world caught up. Although millennials do have to take the L for BB.
Oh my gosh. Oh. She may have a mental illness. Whoever this is, they actually might have a mental illness, bro. You don't get something like that on your body unless something's up here disconnected, bro.
Since Gen Z wouldn't even know what it was if the older millennials didn't popularize it first.
Shaped like the letter P. ¿Qué es madre? Pobre señora, they had her looking like Squidward.
But my goodness, the kids are seeing guys like Clavicular, which although he admits he's not a role model and says not to do what he does, he's admitted to doing meth to stay lean.
So to get lean, I kind of have a different approach to doing it than most models. So like instead of doing cocaine to get lean, I actually do crystal meth.
That's why we wouldn't allow men in this skinny society.
Allegedly making himself infertile due to the things he injects into his body, and bone smashing, which is exactly what it sounds like to essentially chisel his face. I mean, he was injecting face filler into his 17-year-old girlfriend's face, live. All essentially because he's insecure about his appearance. Which, bro, you could have still got a pretty girlfriend without smashing your face and making yourself infertile. And all of this is just about him being able to attract women. But bro, the type of girls you hang around, Charleston White could attract them just by having money. And you're 20, bro. I was in college at 20. Girls your age are not hard to impress. A nice haircut probably would have done the job. And he's of course also a bit of a racist. Please don't be like this guy.
It's really escaping your black boyfriend beating you up.
But he's a good example of this mental health crisis that we all know the world has been going through.
Yeah, bro is casually doing meth and shit. Crystal meth. He got some shit going up here too. But I guess maybe it's just expressed in a different way. Right? And I guess that's why they say we gotta watch for the signs and watch how people move, because people with mental health may not know they even have mental health. But he got some shit going on up here, bro. And that's crazy too, how he's able to build such an audience being racist and obviously harming himself. But I guess like there's more people out there that's just like him or that think like him than we know. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no content to be made if there's no audience to consume.
The man permanently damaged his body to become more attractive to women. And he's just...
Bro, shaking. Is this nigga shaking the meth?
The most famous example, because many young men and women have gone through significant body modification just to feel attractive. Many things that would have been considered extreme are becoming normal. And as a result, the kids growing up...
That's the same person? There's no way.
Many things that would have been considered extreme are becoming normal. And as a result, the kids growing up...
There's no way this is the same person, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. This nigga went from Hispanic to white. Nigga said white maxing. Oh my gosh. White supremacy for the win, bro. White supremacy for the win, man. Damn, these niggas are undefeated, bro. Shit.
Don't know the difference. But whose fault is this, right? We always want to point the finger. But honestly, it's kind of hard to say, at least without sounding like a conspiracy theorist. I can't blame people my age from 20 to 30 because the content most people put on the internet doesn't come from any hidden agenda, it's just their reality. And that's very different from a big celebrity endorsing a certain type of behavior or mindset, because when it comes to people like that, including the Kardashian-Jenner family and even the D'Amelio family, I truly believe that what they promote is part of some agenda, because well, they're getting paid to push whatever their agency decides, essentially. And I feel like it's kind of the case with all the biggest influencers, like the top 1%. But when we're talking about some random streamer that's self-conscious about his appearance, this is not him trying to push his lifestyle on other people, for the most part. because he's just doing what he actually believes is best for him in his life, even if that means literally smashing his face in. Now, I do think that someone is to blame for the wider acceptance of doing adult content as soon as you turn 18, but I can't really pin down exactly who.
Does it trouble you that a lot of your fans are older men?
I mean, it's not, I don't really think about it that much. I don't think about it like that.
Your OnlyFans
Who was literally a minor 7 months before this interview. Shit.
has no nudity.
I mean, no, not yet, at least. I'm not shutting that door because I'm very comfortable with who I am.
Or maybe it's not a person, and it's actually a group of people.
Nah, she's pre-ordering the nudity. I mean, get your bag, I guess. But damn.
Or a corporation. But it's like the era of being comfortable in your own body quickly turned into something else completely. And the easier it is for people to see what you post definitely contributes to the mental health crisis. Like, imagine you're some kid in 2016 posting videos on YouTube. Unless your parents are brainstorming the content for you on a family channel and doing all the behind the scenes work, there's a very good chance that no one would have ever found your content. But then just a couple years later, TikTok happens and it's most popular with children. And not only that, but the audience of these children are children. You don't have to have any type of following to get negative comments on the internet. And as a child, your brain cannot handle it. Even most adults, like I remember this huge YouTuber named Whistling Diesel saying he has a photo album in his phone that's completely dedicated to negative comments he received, and that cannot be a healthy thing to hold on to. And not to mention the thing that we all joked about that many kids have to deal with in reality now, having an OnlyFans mom.
Lexi Thomas is a parent at Liberty Christian who wants this ad on another parent's car to stay off campus. That other parent is Michelle Klein, and what she has is an OnlyFans.
Well, it's definitely linked to, explicit content, adult.
You're dropping your kids off with an OnlyFans content leak? Bro, give them a chance. Give them a chance. Now, her doing OnlyFans doesn't necessarily make her a bad mom, a bad parent. Her kids could be well fed, well taken care of, well educated, all that stuff. Technically, all she's doing is displaying her business, right? She's just displaying her company. She's promoting herself. But you know what you do for a living. You know how high schoolers think. Read the room. Read the room. That's how I view it. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, we all got free will and people shouldn't judge and people shouldn't think this and think that, but people do. And people do certain actions based off on how they think. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they shouldn't judge your kid based off what you do for a living, but they will. Now, do you want someone like that surrounded by your kid that's going to judge them off of that? No, but that's how life go, my nigga. The point is, come on, man. Come on.
Content for sure.
Some moms complaining to Klein and the school, telling her not to use the main entrance and instead drop her kids off across the street.
Back in my day, you just had to worry about kids at school thinking your mom was attractive. But now, some of these kids can search up their classmate's mom and find a little bit more. But the kids watching their favorite influencer get cosmetic surgery or just watching people on social media argue about things that don't even affect them, like the Super Bowl halftime show, imagine how all of this is shaping the next generation. Half of them are going to be scared to have an opinion, and the other half are going to take a very strong stance in one direction just to prove they're not scared to have an opinion. And when I was in college, while I was having fun, I watched people have panic attacks and drop out within the first semester because of whatever mental health problem they were experiencing, just being away from home. And I can't help but think that this type of thing is going to just become worse. Who's going to be a doctor or a lawyer if everyone loses their mind before they turn 21? You don't need me to tell you that the kids are cooked, because you probably heard a million people say it by now. But man, it's starting to sound a little bit too close to reality. It's starting to actually sound true. But I'm sure it'll be fine, right?
I mean, shit, they might be cooked. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, look, I'm not finna saying act like I got my life in order. I'm not finna saying act like my life is just perfectly peaches and cream. But I could look myself in the mirror and be like, you know what, David? You doing what you're supposed to be doing. You on the right track. You know what I'm saying? It may take a little longer compared to others, but you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I could do that. You know what I'm saying? But when I see some of these kids, man, I be like, damn, like the survival instincts, the street smarts, the book smarts. It's like the only thing they know is how to be entertained. Like, and I'm not trying to say that's every kid, but let's just say the majority of kids, right? The majority of kids who are being parented by someone who's going to throw them an iPad and tell them to shut up. You know what I'm saying? I think that the amount of kids who's being like having hands-on parenting with like tutoring or doing the homework with your kids, reading to them at night, that may be going down. And that's just an estimate. That's just a guess. I have a feeling that that's going down based off how these children act out in public. You know what I'm saying? Based off the trends of society. You know, parents work more. They're tired when they get home. They're not trying to, here go your iPad, here go your dinner. Play on that until it's time for you to wash up and go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we may go outside. We may go outside on a weekend and do something. Even then, I'm going to still give you an iPad so you can entertain yourself in between activities. You know, people got to let kids just wander, bro. They got to let kids just explore life. You know what I'm saying? So they can know how to interact with it. If you learn how to interact with life when you turn 17, 18, you damn near already behind, bro. You're already cooked. You don't, like, it's so much stuff, but it's also a concentrated effort for it to be this way, bro. The dumber a society is, the easier it is to manipulate. The less skills they have, the less you can pay them. It's all intertwined, man. It's all intertwined. And then next you know, you can have them voting against their own interests. You know, they're going to go for the quick gratification compared to the long term, you know? So, I mean, I guess it's working, man. It's working.
I kind of proved by looking through these studies that other people did that the kids aren't actually dumber than their older siblings or their parents. They're just sadder. And I guess that can go away eventually, right? I don't know, man. Kind of scared for the future. But then again, I'm kind of scared of the present. And I know that some of the kids have a good head on their shoulders, so I guess we'll just have to push them and hope that they keep it together.
6, 7.
Don't forget to ask your little brother or your little cousin how he's doing. And I don't know, encourage them to go outside, I guess. I'll see you next time.
Shout out Chap University for the video. You did your thing. Yeah, I think the younger generation, man, it's an uphill battle, bro. It's an uphill battle because the world has just been changing. Nigga, I'm barely keeping up. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm barely keeping up with what's going on, you know? But if you're watching this, and if you're a younger dude, younger woman, just take your time, bro. Just experience life. There's no rush. You know what I'm saying? Don't compare yourself to the people on the internet, bro. They only show you what they want to show you. You know what I'm saying? If all you see is happy-go-lucky pictures on someone's Instagram, don't assume that's how they live every day. They hand-selected those moments to show you that, so you could view them that way. You know, everybody gets sad, everybody get mad. You know what I'm saying? Not every ounce of sadness is depression, you know, but if you feel like you are depressed, go get checked out. Go talk to the people you gotta talk to. You know what I'm saying? So, it's fucked up though, bro. It's fucked up because it's all a part of the agenda. I'm gone. Peace.